my fellow comic book collectors, it's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is part 6 of this current unboxing, and we got this small collection. It's just a small group, but some really big books. The first one is sort of a minor key. Kind of a cool book, though. This is Batman Confidential number 26, and it is the first appearance of King Tut. So he's actually a character from the Batman TV series, and that never got in the comics. He was never in the comics. He was in the Batman TV series, but he was never in the comics. Well, this brings him into the comics, and I love getting characters from TV series. It's a thing I'd like to do. Well, this is a Silver Age character in a more modern book. So this is Batman Confidential number 26, first appearance of the King Tut. Just a cool book. I like the fact that he's on the cover as well. That's always a good thing. And yeah, kind of fun. From 2006, way later than, it's like almost 40 years later. Really slow about bringing him into the comics. Okay, this next is a little bit of unboxing. This one's a cool one. We're getting into some Golden Age stuff now. This one is part of my Infinity collection. I've been trying to get all the different Infinity covers, especially ones from the Golden Age. I kind of really especially like those. And one of the titles in the Golden Age that had a bunch of Infinity covers was Frisky Fables. It's like a cartoon animal one, or funny animal books. And this is Frisky Fables volume 3, number 7. And so you can see that it's like an infinity right there. And it's just one infinity right there. So nothing super special, but I love these Infinity covers. I just think they're cool. And I have a whole box devoted to my Infinity covers. That actually is overflowing because I don't have enough space in it. There's just too many Infinity covers that I've collected. So I'm going to have to maybe get another box, a bigger box, just fit them all in. But this one's a cool one. Not an expensive book, just cool for the fact that it's an Infinity cover. So Frisky Fables. Next one is kind of a cool one. This one is like sort of a rip-off comic. So Marvel, I'm not sure if you noticed this, but Marvel has a tendency of ripping off other other companies and their characters. And this is a total rip-off of a classic character. This is Homer the Happy Ghost, and this is issue number 1 from Marvel Comics, and it's kind of like a rip-off of Casper the Ghost. And it's like, keep off the grass, and he's like floating above it. So same kind of idea, it's kind of, I guess he's the happy version of Casper. Casper is always a little bit down, he's a little bit sad because he's got no friends. Homer is a happy ghost, I guess. So this one's just an interesting one. I picked up Homer's first appearance, which is also Homer the Happy Ghost, but it's an earlier series. This is the second series. So yeah, so Homer the Happy Ghost number 1 from Marvel Comics. Now this is probably early 70s, late 60s kind of era. I think it's late 60s. 1969. So yeah. So barely Silver Age book, but kind of a fun one. And now back to the Golden Age. This is one that was just a target of opportunity. It was just an inexpensive copy that I found of Dolly Dill, number 1. And again, it's got this kind of good girl art cover, humor cover. It's like, gosh, anybody with feet that size must have a kick like a mule. And she's going to find out that indeed that person does have a kick like a mule. This was one of those series that only lasted one issue. It didn't do that well. Yeah. So Dolly Dill #1. Not a bad cover, actually. Kind of cute. Okay, this next one is a character that I really like, actually. And I just think, I love this cover, actually. And it's one that I bid on a few times, and every time I would lose. I don't know why. I just keep on losing on this one. It's a Golden Age book, Dell 4-color 198, and it's a cool Flash Gordon cover. I just think it's a great cover. You got the girl in bondage. You got guy getting punched out. He's gonna fall on top of her, which is not so good. But just a cool Paul Norris cover. It's interesting. I actually have a client that has that. That's his name, Paul Norris. It's kind of funny. So yeah, not the same person, but yeah. I just like this cover. Something about it, I always like this cover. I think the girl's kind of sexy. I think the action's kind of cool. And I like sci-fi covers. So I was a big fan of Flash Gordon. Really enjoyed the movie. So yeah, Flash Gordon 198 from Dell 4-color 198, I should say. So that's a fun one. And this next one, I thought I unboxed it a bit. Okay, this is actually a cool one too. I didn't realize I didn't have it prepared. Normally I have them a little bit prepared, so I can just show the books. One sec here, I gotta slice a little bit. This one's being a little challenging. There we go. All right, I'll fling that. So, this is a really cool series, actually. If you're a big fan of Matt Baker, like I am, he worked on a series called Crown Comics. Now, he created a character called Vuda. And Vuda, whenever they showed him on the cover, he was a white guy. On the cover, he was always a white guy. Interior, though, he was a black character, and he was probably the first. Actually, he is considered the first hero of a black hero in comics. So very important one for that reason. So that was in Crown Comics. I believe it's #2 or 3 that he made his appearance. But this has a Vuda. Believe this is Vuda on the cover. And this is Crown Comics #19. Now, this is not a Matt Baker cover. I just thought it was a cool cover. You got the guy in chains. You got the girl in the background. You got the guy with the whip. I just thought it was a cool cover. Actually, I lost out on an auction on Heritage where this one kind of went for a little bit too much. I was like, that's a bit expensive. Found it on eBay for half the price, so I was quite happy. So Crown Comics #19. And this is interesting because you don't usually see this in like that many titles. Like you see this stamp on like a lot of Marvel early like Atlas books. This is not Atlas, but it still has this old Comic Code Authority. So this is the old version of the Comic Code Authority, where it's the AMCP, which is American Magazine and Comic Book Publishers Code. And basically, they actually call it the comic book. What does it say? Wow, I can't read that. It's just too small. Conforms to the Comics Code. That's what it says in the little star. Conforms to the Comics Code. And it's just early comic code. Nobody followed the rules, and they would have like crazy stuff anyways. But it was a way of trying to appease parents that didn't really like their kids reading books that had crazy stuff. So, and the code didn't really succeed. When they actually implemented the real code, Comic Codes Authority, they were much more stringent about following the rules, and actually to an extreme, where it actually forced many publishers out of business. This early code really didn't have much power behind it, or any no real consequences either if you didn't follow the code. So very important early code, but didn't really do much. But I just love this cover. That's the reason I bought the book. I just thought it was a cool cover. Okay, speaking of cool covers, this is another one. I didn't necessarily want to buy this specific copy, but I was trying to get a copy of it. And it's one that, what happened was I had this in my my cart. Like on my comic shop, you can kind of have like a primary cart and a secondary cart. I'd always put this in my secondary cart. And the reason being is it's a low grade, and the price that they wanted at first, I think it was like $300 or $400. It's like some crazy price. And then they kept on lowering it. So they lower it like $50 more and $50 more. And it eventually got under that 200 thing. And then there was a sale. They get a little bit cheaper even. So it became like kind of in that price range where I thought, oh, not bad price. And it's a hard book to find. It's a really hard book to find. So this is Showgirls number 4. And I have the full run of Showgirls now. This completes it for me. And it's just these Dan DeCarlo covers. Really great series. This is early, like, Silver Age book from 1957. So this is sort of that good girl phase of comic books. Just a really great Dan DeCarlo cover. So Showgirls number 4. Really cool stuff. Wrong number. That's what you think. And yeah, so I don't know. He's like calling, I guess he's calling all the showgirls. That's a good thing to do. Okay, so next is a Golden Age book. And this is from a series where Fox Features Syndicate did a whole bunch of my something, like my romance, my love affair, my whatever, my secret marriage, or like always something my. And I call it the My Collection. Well, this is one of those my books. This is My Love Affair number 2. And I'm a big fan of Fox Features Syndicate, their books. They were sort of cheesy. They were fun. They used pink paper, which is crazy. They had really great artists like Matt Baker and Jack Kamen. Just really great stuff. So this is My Love Affair number 2. I just thought this was great. Just great good girl art cover. So what does it say? I had my hour, my dreaded secret. They said I was something. The one little piece missing. You can see it kind of cuts off what that says. The paper quality on these Fox Features Syndicate books was really, really poor. As I said, they used pink paper because that was the cheapest paper they could find. And a lot of the time, the quality of the paper would just really show it. They would fall apart fairly quickly. So getting these in any grade is actually quite challenging. Usually very low census counts. So My Love Affair, number 2, from 1949. Okay, this next book is one that I knew what I was getting. It was cheap. I guess that's the only way I can say it. I probably shouldn't have bought it in a way because it is low grade. Actually presents well, except for the fact that it is low grade. It sounds really bad to say that. So this is a remainder copy. You can see that's been ripped off, but actually, if it wasn't for the fact that that was ripped off, actually in really good shape. This is an L.B. Cole cover, and it's contact number 11. All that was like at the top actually was not that great of a header, so this was kind of the key part anyways. So I was like, should I buy it? It was like really, really cheap, so I was like, I am trying to put the series together. This will be a placeholder, I guess. And it is great LB Cole art, so I kind of went with it. So, yeah, just a really great LB Cole cover. Too bad it doesn't have that top bit. But I've seen what other people have done is they get like a photocopy of the top part, and then they kind of just slide it in, and then it looks like a complete copy. And it actually can work really nicely. My comic shop graded this as a 1.0. So generally the way it works with remainder copies is if usually they're graded as a 0.5, just automatically a 0.5. That's because usually the rest of the comic is pretty beat. However, if the comic is like sort of exceptionally good condition, they'll actually grade it out at a 1.0. This is missing a lot, but because the rest of the comic is in really high grade, it grades out at a 1. And that's how they graded it. So they said give it a 1.0, even though it's a remainder copy. Because the bottom part is really sharp, actually. It's really quite good. So yeah, I'm a big fan of LB Cole. That's why I bought that one. Okay, this next book is huge. This is probably one of the bigger books in this unboxing, actually. And I got it for a great price, so I was quite happy. This is Mickey Mouse Magazine, and I actually forgot what the issue number is. Volume 2, number 10. So Volume 2, number 10, from 1937, July 1937. And this is one of the first Donald Duck covers, okay, and stories inside. I think this is the first book where he's fully in color in the interior. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm gonna open it up to see. We can open it up as well. Let's see. It's a really cool book though, so let's open it up. It's not a high grade copy, but it does present well, so you can see it's not a bad looking book. And you got Donald Duck in color there. So it is low grade. This piece falls off. And you can see it's all in color. So it's not a high grade copy, and it's very brittle. You can feel that it's not in the best of shape. A little piece fell off as I was doing that. But it is a really hard book to get, and usually very pricey. This is one of those more pricey magazines. Let me just put that back correctly. I'll even put that little piece back in. So that's Mickey Mouse Magazine, Volume 2, number 10. I will get that someday. And just a key book because it's got Donald Duck in color in the interior. There's a bunch of Donald Duck keys. So the one that's behind me, right up there, is the very first Donald Duck comic book. So, and that's like 1933 or something like that. The earlier versions of Donald Duck, he looks a little different. Like I also have another book, which is the first cover appearance of Donald Duck. And, there's like different things that you have to get. There's a whole bunch of different ones. This is, there's also the first comic book version of Donald Duck. It is a challenge to get them all the various keys related to Donald Duck. But this is one of the bigger ones. So Mickey Mouse Magazine. Really great Donald Duck. Actually, it presents really well. Okay, so that's it.